Oh, hi. I didn't expect anyone else to be awake this early. It's about 5:30 in the morning, and I love this time so much. When the world is still asleep and you can already greet the new day. You know, today is a special morning. I've been planning it for several days. I decided to start growing basil, and today is a day to plant the first seeds, or rather, to start sprouting them. Look how tiny they are, and each one holds a whole life within it. Future leaves with the unique aroma that will fill the entire kitchen. Sometimes it amazes me how so many possibilities can fit into such a small seed. I spent a long time studying the best way to sprout basil seeds. It turns out they need moisture, warmth, and a little patience. Basically, just like all good things in life, right? Their glass should be damp, but not wet. The seeds need moisture, but they shouldn't be floating in water. Just like us. Sometimes we need support, but not a flood that will overwhelm us. Each seed gets its own space, not too close to each other. So there's room to grow. You know, watching this process, I often think about how similar plants and people are. We also need our space, time, the right conditions. Now they covered as if our a soft blanket in the dark and damp. They will begin to awake to life. It's amazing, isn't it? They don't even need light at the very beginning, just warmth, moisture, and time. Now comes the hardest part, waiting. They say the first sprouts can appear in 3 to 7 days. Every morning I'll check to see if anything new has appeared. Can you imagine how exciting that is? You know what I like most about growing plants? It's such an act of faith. You do everything right, create the conditions, take care, and then you just trust. You trust nature, time, the process of life itself. I can already imagine having fresh basil leaves in a month or two. How I'll pick them to make pesto, pizza, or just crush them between my fingers to feel that incredible aroma. this morning while preparing everything for this ritual. I was thinking that every seed is a kind of promise, a promise to the future. And every new day is also a kind of seed, isn't it? We wake up and we have the opportunity to start something, to grow something. Why basil specifically? I have a special relationship with it. When I was little, my grandmother grew basil on her windowsill. I remember how she would let me pick a leaf and crush it between my fingers. That scent still takes me back to a time when everything seemed simple and possible. And besides, basil is such a rewarding herb. The more you pick it, the more actively it grows. Sometimes I think it's the same with our talents. The more we use them, the stronger they become. You know, I like the thought that right now, as we are talking, invisible work is already beginning inside. The seeds are absorbing moisture, the shells are softening, the process has already started, even thought we can't see anything yet. It reminds me of how often we rush to see results. We plan something and expect sprouts the very next day. We start exercising and expect drastic changes in a week. But nature teaches us a different, wider rhythm. These grapevines that surround us, they've been growing here for many years. Every season brings new leaves, new bunches of grapes. It doesn't hurry, it doesn't panic in winter when there are no leaves. It just trusts its cycle. I think that plants are all best teachers of patience. They show us their growth is not a sprint but a marathon, and that the most beautiful things take time. I remember a customer at the cafe um, complaining that she couldn't get any house plants to grow. She said, "There always time of me." And then it turns out she was watering them every day, moving them from place to place, constantly checking the roots. She cared them to death, as they say. Sometimes the best care is to just create the right conditions and step back to give space for growth. I guess that's true not only for plants but for relationships, for creativity, for everything important in life. You know what makes me happiest about this Basil project? That in a month or a month and a half, I'll be able to use its leaves in my cooking. Can you imagine pasta with pesto made from my own basil, or a margarita pizza with freshly picked leaves? There is something special about food made with ingredients you've grown yourself. It's not just the taste, it's a whole story, a story of patience, care, waiting. Every leaf will carry the memory of this morning, of our seeds, of the excitement I feel right now. And you know what's most amazing? When I harvest the first crop, some of the plants will produce new seeds, and I'll be able to share them with friends, plants even more. One small packet of seeds can turn into a whole garden. Isn't that a miracle? It's funny how quickly you get used to caring for something. So little time has passed, and I keep glancing over. Is it too warm for them? Has the clothes died out? Even thought I know the first sprouts won't appear for at least a few days. I've already made a whole list of dishes I want to make with this basil. First on the list, of course, is classic pesto, basil, pine, nuts, parmesan, olive oil, and it will all be blended into a fragrant paste right in my kitchen. You know, there is something special about herbs you grow yourself. At the store, basil is just an ingredient, but the one that grew in your home, it becomes a living participant in your culinary story. Each leaf will have its own character, its own moment when it reaches perfect maturity. My grandmother always used to say, Melissa, remember, you must pick herbs with gratitude. She taught me that the plant gives us a part of itself. So we must appreciate that gift. Now I understand that the more deeply when you grow it yourself, you really feel that connection. I also read that basil was considered a sacred plant in ancient times. In India, it's called tulsi, and they believe it brings protection and purification. Maybe that's why I intuitively chose it for my first serious gardening project. So far, everything is perfect. The clothes, is damp, but not wet. The seeds are in warmth. Now for the hardest part, learning not to worry and not to interfere with nature's work. That's harder than it seems. You know what else I plan to do with the basil? Dry some of the leaves for winter. Can you imagine on a winter evening adding a pinch of basil to a soup and smelling the aroma of summer? It's like saving a piece of warm weather for the cold days. And I also want to try freezing the leaves in olive oil in ice cube trays. You get these fragrant little cubes. One cube into the pan, and the whole kitchen immediately fills with the scent of fresh herbs. Sometimes I think about how much joy one small decision can bring. These seeds a month ago, this was just an idea. Should I grow some basil? And now it's a whole project with plans, anticipation. You know what I appreciate most about growing my own herbs? It brings you back to the roots. We are so used to being able to buy everything ready made. But here, you once again become part of that ancient process from seed to finished dish. Let them rest here, warm but not in direct sun, protected from the wind, like in a cozy cradle. The next few days will be the most important in the little lives. And when they sprout and turn into real plants, I plan to transplant them into beautiful pots right here on this veranda. Imagine how wonderful it will be to make breakfast surrounded by your own herbs, fresh basil right at your fragrant tips. Oh, and I completely forgot about my lemon cookies. I baked them last night, especially for this morning. I wanted our planting ritual to have a special taste. Mm. You know, there is something magical about the combination of lemon and early morning. Such freshness, such vibrance. They turned out very well, delicate with a bright citrus flavor. It's funny how everything is connected, isn't it? These cookies are the result of yesterday's experiment in the kitchen. And these seeds are the beginning of a new experiment. Both require patience, attention to detail. You know what I like about these morning moments? You can set intentions for the day, not plans. They're too rigid, but intentions. like the energy with which you want to live the day. Today, my intention is patience. Patience with these seeds, which will grow at their own pace. Patience with myself if something doesn't go as planned, and patience with the process of joy, which sometimes develops more slowly than one would like. Sometimes I think that our life is a series of small experiments. These cookies are a kitchen experiment. The basil is a gardening experiment. Even this early morning is an experiment with a new rhythm for the day. I want these little seeds to know that they are awaited with love, that they don't need to hurry, they don't need to be perfect, just to grow and their own pace, to become who they are meant to be. And another intention for today is to notice moments of gratitude. These grapevines creating such a cozy atmosphere. This morning, tranquility, the opportunity to share this moment with you. At the cafe, I often watch how people are in a hurry. They order coffee to go, quickly grab a pastry, and I understand everyone has their own rhythm of life, but Sometimes I just want to say, stop for a minute, smell this aroma of the coffee, notice how the light falls on your table. Maybe these seeds will teach me to be even more mindful of the moments. Every day I will check on them, and every day it will be a small practice of presence, to be here now with what is. You know, I really don't want this morning to end, but soon the world will fully awaken. The regular day will begin, and I'll have to get back to daily chores. Let them rest in peace. The next few days will be the most important for them. And these lemon cookies, they brighten up our morning so much, so sunny, so vibrant, perfect for greeting the dawn. And by the way, if you're interested in how to make them, the recipe is already on the channel. They turned out very delicate with the lemon curd inside. Today, I realized something important. Sometimes we look for big changes, grand events, but happiness is hidden in moments like this, in seeds on a damp cloth, in a successfully baked cookie, in morning tea surrounded by grapevines. these little ones will become part of my daily routine. Every morning, I will check, have the first sprouts appeared? Do they need more moisture? It's like a small daily miracle of anticipation. And do you have something that you're growing? Not necessary plants, maybe a dream, a skill, a relationship, something that is requires daily care and patience. Thank you for sharing with special morning with me. You know, moments like this become brighter when you share them with someone. It's as if they take on additional meaning. I can already imagine sitting right here in a couple of months with a cup of tea and fresh basil leaves. Maybe I'll even make pesto right here on the veranda among these vines, and I'll be sure to tell our seeds what they've become. Remember, every day is a small seed of possibility, and it doesn't matter how long it takes to see the result. The important thing is to start and to trust, to process. See you soon. I promise to show you what grows from our little ones. And for now, maybe you'll try baking something delicious for your own morning moments. They deserve it.